kind of a idea out of left field, but the whole Rivian Amazon news I think is really interesting, where Rivian's gone the path of having some of these much bigger companies pour in a ton of money, but essentially then cater their product development to that company. So is that something I'm thinking, like Uber Eats comes in and says like, or Uber comes in and says like, we want to invest, 30 million and we want you to buy 10,000. Like, to me, that seems like sort of a no brainer for Eats or for rides, or, so I'm curious, is that something you've thought about, or what's your kind of stance on that?
Yeah. And actually a lot of conversations of that type, of that nature, have simply been waiting on having production vehicles on the road that prospective companies can try out and drive around. We believe that there is a strong case for the Arcimoto platform for delivery. That's what the Deliverator is all about. For personal transportation, that's what the FEV is all about. We think it is the right platform for autonomous driving. So if you consider rideshare, that 85% of rideshare is just one passenger, to me it makes no sense that the vision of autonomy would be a 7-passenger vehicle that is, again, our goal is to really right-size the footprint of daily transportation. And if 85% of the trips just have one person, then a 5,000-pound van that's just carrying one person around autonomously doesn't really solve the problem in the way that we think is most efficient.
And I honestly feel a little bit bummed, because I feel like Arcimoto hasn't had a fair shake, and that you guys have actually been putting up the work and are actually at the start of production, while all these other EV companies at huge valuations have just had $1 billion to build one concept car and are still years away from starting production. Yet they're being valued at billions of dollars. Arcimoto is here valued at 50 million. And if they're building one a day, you guys are already at a 7 million revenue run rate, and scaling, and the product exists, and I've driven it. I'm not allowed to drive the Rivian. I love Rivian. I don't want to knock that, but you know what I mean? Like, I don't even know if they let Bezos drive it before he put in 500 million, But so, so I really want to just give you guys props. And that's kind of, on an investment case, I've been waiting for that to change. On one hand, I'm like, okay, a $60 million company for no revenue, they're about to launch production. It's maybe a low margin vehicle business. Maybe this kind of makes sense. But on the flip side, I'm like, the excitement for this electric space, the excitement in the transportation space, the opportunity here is being recognized at almost every other startup that's way further behind than you guys. I don't know.
I'm not gonna argue with anything that you just said. But I will say thank you for helping tell our story. We are a scrappy Oregon startup company, and Oregon companies have a long history of doing, I think, good things on slim budgets out of necessity. But as we actually go into the market, and as we actually begin to deliver, and I think you can see this in some of our very recent press, is just that I think we're starting to change that perception in a very meaningful way. And so my hope would be that is reflected in our ability to attract the financing down the road that will be necessary to really make this thing go huge.
Totally. And yeah, huge fan. And I'm really, really proud to be a shareholder and impressed with the progress. So I can't wait to see you guys expand production. And I'm already thinking, my brain is like, I was just covering Airbnb in a video, and I'm like, man, like Airbnb should have a thing where like you get an Arcimoto with your Airbnb the second you get there on vacation. Like, there's so many different ways this can go. So
we've had a number of people who have Airbnb say that they're getting an Arcimoto for their Airbnbs, actually.
There you go.